Here we go again, number 10 of the Darkness to Light Godcast. Thank you again everyone for joining me, if you're back again. And this one's been a wee bit forced upon me. I've been this week's kind of run away. This is now Wednesday, so I like to get them done at the start of the week, and the plan is to continue to get them out every Friday. But with a wee bit of a glitch, had a bit of an IT situation over the last couple of days, and for the first time I felt a wee bit of pressure that I need to get it out. So here we are. Tons of time. It'll be uploaded today, and it'll be transferred across on Thursday to go on Friday morning. But just interesting how busy this place has been. How busy with the work the last 7 days, and one of the things that I was kind of hoping when I get into this, always hope to get into it for one, but when I now that I'm getting into it, what I'm really doing is just week by week I can report what's going on within the vortex and what's happening within this place and within all the different branches and extensions of stuff that we're now putting together and taken to the world, so that's exciting. And the last week's been really busy. It's been a great week. After today, really, the first time I've really kind of stopped since been down at Birmingham, which is nearly 2 weeks ago. It is 2 weeks ago, which is unbelievable. To think how quick the last couple of weeks have been and how busy I've been, and the work and how what's run about it in terms of the people and the stuff that's coming through, and the direction that it's going, and trying to keep it all together and make sense of it and make it work. It's a fascinating process. It's a really enjoyable process, but it's a grind 24/7 sometimes, and it's felt a wee bit like that for me recently. I've been a wee bit tired with it. It's been heavy going. It's been full on. And I do need a lot of time to bounce back and to recover, but I'm kind of feeling like that a wee bit just now, as if I've been getting a wee bit stale. And it's no time to stop yet, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it. We keep going, so as always, it's like, what's next, what else is coming up, what's the plan. And unfortunately, only fortunately, because it's the team that's here, it's not just me. That's basically enabling this and making it happen. It's a Vortex team, and primarily Michael and Fern that are on it. With myself, literally 7 days a week. What are we doing next? What's the next bit of it? How does it go together? How can we refine? How can we make better? How can we? What else is there? What other ways can we? Get this out there and get it to people? Is the constant question I'm asking. How can we give this and help more people? How can we get it out there to the people that need it? Because I think still, in this phase is very interesting for me. This is a great bit we're getting to, because I think now that absolutely, especially with this as well, doing the Godcasts. And the amount of kind of intentional, the desire to put it out there, which has made me be more visible, and I suppose certainly take more responsibility for the stuff that I'm putting out, in terms of, before I think it was just like let it go, it was just coming through and I was just letting it pull through, but now I'm aware of the different ways that it's going out and who's hearing it, and the message and the impact I want to leave on it. I want to get it right. And the desire has never changed. The desire has always been the same. It's just interesting how it shows up and how it unfolds to the stage we're now at, which is really exciting. Probably the most exciting it's been so far, in terms of the work that's been done since January time, really. Since Michael and Fern came on the scene, in terms of with me. And then those first kind of couple of months, probably 3 months, which was just absolutely manic, God bless them. What they were able to create, what we were able to create, the content that was already there, but how quick it was put together, and how fast it's all happened, how from where we came at the beginning of the year, we really had nothing, just me doing this kind of stuff from the Vortex, and I suppose live events and corporate speaking engagements, to all of a sudden get the entire system, the programme online. We're now doing monthly events. The one day to change your life, the different ways that people are now being able to access the work through the programme has been incredible. the expansion that's taking place within that, within the groups, the experiences that are taking place within the sessions, the live sessions. There's 2 sessions every week, so the live recordings on Wednesday mornings, Rise and Shine, that early morning meditation, 6 o'clock, the different types of breathwork and different types of meditation, which are different every week, and then the Sunday service, the best week ever starts the night before, starts that Sunday night before, so they've been going on for months now. We've had a couple of glitches, really only time it's not on is if I'm doing an event. If I'm talking all day as I was on Sunday at the One Day to Change Your Life, then we would miss it. And then we had the IT mechanical this morning, Wednesday morning, so I couldn't do it. I came in last night to set it up and the internet was bust, so that's just been repaired today. So for by that, it's twice a week, every week, and then everything else that comes with that in terms of what people are getting from it and their experiences with the meditation primarily, the breathwork and the meditation is the exciting bit for me. That's where all this is going for me. It's the intentional life, but it's a spiritual life. That's pretty much what I'm selling, and I'm now selling it fairly hard. And giving people the opportunity to get on about it and see what it is I'm talking about with the experience, but it's very difficult to explain or express or do it justice in words, or talking about it. No matter how excited you get or how many testimonials you read or you hear somebody else talking about it, there's nothing much really does it justice. You need to come and get the experience. And that's what this is all about. That's what this continued, expansion of what other ways can we do it. That's what it's all about, is to give people the experience and offer them a gift, I suppose, which is difficult when somebody really doesn't know that they need a gift. Well, maybe not want the gift, they might be quite happy where they are. But the intention is to offer something. And the hope is there's enough people out there that they hear, they see the signal and maybe hear what we're doing, and which is, it has been incredible. The numbers, some of the views, the videos that Michael's been making, and I saw one nowadays, 50,000 views, and you think, geez, like it's from nothing, from really having nothing, and all of us, they had more experience than me, but just trying to do it organically and try to put the content out there properly in terms of showing what it is we're doing, and keeping it as humble as we can, and at the same time, trying to push it because we see what it's doing to people, the results that we're getting, the results that these techniques and tools are getting, what's happening to people when they switch off their stress and get out of their head and start to find balance again. Obviously, when you've got something like that, then the intention, once you get it for yourself, as I always say, is to pass it on and give it to others, to pay it forward, and that's all we're really trying to do. So as I have been mentioning, the next stage, the next bit is the Scottish tour, and that's the next big announcement. It's official as of today. We are starting off with 4 dates. I wasn't far away with the dates, but I did say once we get the One Day to Change Your Life over on Sunday there, then we're going to have probably a couple of weeks off, and that's going to be the case. The first one's going to be the 23rd of June. That's the first date, and it's going to be every Sunday after that. We're going to do 4 in a row, so it's going to be from Dundee, going to start in Dundee. All the dates, all the specifics, everything you're going to need to know is going to be released. It'll be out by the time this comes out on Friday, so I'm not going to talk about it on here. We're going to go from Dundee, and then the following Sunday we're up to Aberdeen. Sunday after that we're going to be down in Ayrshire, and then we're going to finish off in Glasgow. And the tour itself is going to be called Reset and Reconnect. It's kind of like the Breathe and Believes. The Breathe and Believes is a good thing, to believe, to have faith, to reconnect back. But this I suppose is really the evolution of where I am with this over the last kind of couple of years in particular, and the fact this is now my standalone own workshop. I'm really doing it for anybody or represent anybody, so it's really kind of, I can do what I want without, it was always a challenge, maybe no worrying, but, paying attention to what other people were expecting or what they needed for it, whereas now it's just, me that's coming in and going, this is what I've got, you can take it or not, but this is how I'm going to do it. I don't need to look for anybody's approval, and it's coming through, it's coming through in different ways, and the intention with the day, the intention with the work is to offer an experience. It's based on breathwork. It's something that everybody should know how to do properly. The amount of people that don't know how to breathe, or how the body, is meant to breathe. it's such it's incredible when you know. And I'm a layman, I am trained. I've sat with the best teachers in the world. Patrick McFadyen from the Auction Advantage, my teacher, is one of the best teachers, probably the best. In terms of what he enabled me to learn and the information that I picked up along the way. And for me to be able to make sense of it, and the realisation of how much better my life would probably have been in so many different ways, just by learning how to breathe properly. And it's information that's been about. Some of it's been about for a long time. Some of this information has been about for over 100 years, so they know about it. The stuff is there, but again, we, for whatever reason, do not know. So, something as simple as, and that's something when you say it, come and learn to breathe, and people go, I can already breathe, I know how to breathe. And they really don't, they really don't. And for me as well, the functional breathing, the learn how to breathe properly, that's a starter for 10. That's just to get you out of your head. That's just to switch off your head. That's just to give you a break. So if you are, again, the question's always who is it for? Who's the event for? Probably, as far as children go in age, it's responsible. Teenagers are fine, as long as they've got a reason for being there. And it's not just a case of, that the mum wants to get them out of the house and have their Xbox for a couple of hours. Or it's not really like that. It's this work in these days it can be heavy going in terms of the stuff that can come up. The people that it attracts, we're looking for people. We're looking for people actively to help. People that are suffering or struggling with anything, any condition. It doesn't matter what it is. You're absolutely welcome. So obviously within that space, within that environment, you don't really want whinge running about, and even if the mum or the dad's coming, to find some relief in themselves, then obviously if they're looking after the child, then that doesn't work, So that's why I say responsible teenagers, 15, 16, 17, who've got a reason for being there, and more importantly want to be there. Hugely important, they need to want to be there for anybody. Don't just drag somebody along, it's not going to work. We know through experience that doesn't work, So, but for everybody and anybody else, mental health, that's my main, it was the main kind of focus of my work. I suppose it's expanded into everything now. So this work, I continue to say, it helps everything, it makes everything and enables everything to get better. But for mental health, things like, the anxieties and depressions and overwhelmment, all that kind of stuff, by learning to breathe properly, it will change your life. There is no question about it. Just as a starter for 10, if you just learn to breathe and enabled, and learned how to enable to switch off your nervous system, to take your body from that state of chronic stress, that fight and flight response, which everybody's in. It's so rare that you see somebody who's not under stress. So when you even just learn by the power of the breath and how you can enable that system, that nervous system to switch off, and you can start to command it to switch off and give yourself a break from that switched on. That can change your life. That can be a miracle in itself. The functional breath work and what it does for you and how it impacts every single cell in the body. The ability to switch off your head, to get out your head, to start to quiet the mind. It's life-changing, and what a practice, to take away with you, what a gift, just that and nothing else. And even from that, if you then go a wee step further and then we start to look at relaxation, and really letting go, and stopping and taking stock, and because the next step after that is to go back inside. That's the plan for the reset and the reconnect. We're going to reconnect back to ourselves, absolutely is the plan. Back into the true self, we're going to reconnect back into our hearts, back into our souls. It might be a wee bit of a stretch for some people. Again, that's why you need to come and experience it, because once we reconnect back into ourselves, and then the next step is to reconnect back with each other. So a big part of this is to reunite and get back into union, with each other, which is really difficult if you're separated, if you're struggling, if you're in survival, and maybe things aren't going that well. Very difficult. The amount of people that are isolated and go through this life experience on their own, just locked in different literal cages. When you look at the mental health stuff and the challenges that people face, we really just, the way I see it, a lot of the time, is just switched on chronic stress, and what that does to the head. And if you don't know how to switch that head off, then it can make you sick. So there's so many benefits. The mental health stuff is obviously a huge thing. I've got the t-shirts for mental health. This is why I am now qualified to do this stuff, to talk about this stuff, is because of my own journey with mental health. Where I started wasn't the best of places, you know, and how I made it through it, and then eventually transcended it, and then learned these tools and techniques that eventually, you know, led me to the place where, you know, I will never ever be back there ever again. Praise the Lord. And you know, it's stuff that's available to anybody and makes everything better. You know, when we're talking about breath work as a you know, a basic, and then when you take that a wee bit further and use the intention to, you know, be able to relax and then understand how to relax and go back inside yourself and, you know, quiet the mind and reconnect back into your feelings, your emotions, and back into your heart. You know, meditation then is just a small step away. When people experience meditation, again, you can, the amount of times people sit in front of me and I'll mention meditation, and straight away they're like, you can see them going, oh, kind of, here we go, a wee bit. Not if they know what they're coming into, but a lot of times with the public stuff, people don't know what it is, and they get a wee bit kind of frightened by it. Some crazy hippie talking about meditation, talking about God. I get that, you know, but it's not until you actually understand, you know, when we explain what meditation is, which is to reconnect back to the divinity that's inside you. You know, it's inside every single one of us. It's something that we bring into this world. I do believe we come in from divine source energy that some people call God. Call it what you like. You know, we come in from a source, and we carry it inside of us. You know, I know that because of my own practices over the last 27 years. And when we die, we go back to it. It's dead simple. You know, we re-emerge once the body is gone. You know, the essence that we carry about inside of us, the spirit, that can't die. I don't believe. The evidence is my mum for that one. You know, that I can feel it all the time. You know, it's, and so can other people. And some people can see her. I can't, but it's you know. So we can only see a very limited, you know, on this spectrum that we live in. You know, and awareness and, you know, the different ways of navigating this lifetime we're in, which is really challenging for a lot of people. It is. And I really don't know how you get through it if you don't have an internal practice. You know, even like some quiet, eyes closed, gentle movement is fantastic with your eyes closed. You know, things like qigong, tai chi, the kind of the softer arts, yoga as well, obviously. There's so many things that, you know, we spend our whole life projecting on the outside and in the mind and in the intellect, and switched on all the time, trying to work it out, trying to make it better with the best of intentions, as it's all good stuff. You know, but it catches up with us eventually. As I'm finding, the older I'm getting, you know, the body and, you know, the sins of me just being in this Western environment, the Scottish diet, you know, and all the stuff we're surrounded by. And you know, I was out today, the bonnets on the day, it was bloody freezing today. You know, and this is early summer. And I was out walking with the dog in the rain, and it was just like, oh no, this is a nightmare. You know, this is supposed to be summer. So the environment's challenging here. It is, even just the lack of sunlight and heat is a huge challenge. We're designed and supposed to be outside in the light. We're supposed to have light hitting our brains and on our skin, you know, and we're supposed to be connected to nature. I do believe that's the way that we probably evolved. Before the roads and the rubber for our shoes and the stuff that separates us from the ground. We at one point were connected absolutely to the earth, you know, and I love watching me Murph. Whenever we'll stop beside a tree somewhere, I'll put my hands on a tree, or I'll feel the energy off a tree, which I love. I can just feel her sitting on the branch, especially there's some cracking redwoods, and she just tunes into them. You can just see her sitting in certain parts of the tree, and you can feel, you know, the sensitivity for her paws, as you do when you stand with your bare feet on any earth. But when you stand on one of the trees, the kind of root structure, it's incredible, the connections that when you start to see things in a different way, and you start to come at it through the experience in a different way. If you'd have said that to me 10 years ago, you know, stand and feel the energy off a tree. I remember reading the Celestine Prophecy, which is on the top shelf, I'm sure, up there, which is a special kind of shelf for me, kind of memorabilia stuff. That was one of the first books, probably, I think it was the first book that I bought. And they used to talk about seeing the energy for the trees, and I remember thinking at the time, and I don't see anything, you know, but I can feel stuff. I can absolutely feel stuff. I do all my I suppose that spiritual stuff with feelings, which again, that's the guidance system and the vibrations and picking up, you know, your intuition, all that kind of stuff. You know, so the ability to go inside, to get quiet, that's why there is such a push from me with this stuff. to go inside and escape the madness, escape the literal insanity of this world just now, and reconnect back into that which Wayne Dyer called real, the divinity that's inside you, which is real. God is real, the source of all creation. The stuff that we do and the stuff we get through this life, the distractions that we spend our time in, most of it doesn't matter. In fact, almost all of it doesn't matter, and it's the same stuff every single day. So to give yourself a break for that, and then to stop and to go inside and to reconnect back into something which is real. If you reconnect back into yourself, something which will never die, the essence of yourself, and then you start to, experience what a meditation practice is. Because once you feel it within yourself, you can then, as I do, I can feel it round about me. I can feel the field round about me when I'm sitting in meditation, and then you start to, again, because of my experiences over many, many years, it's been documented on here. But what I got, was to become that field at one point, and to really feel, that when they talk about as above, so below, and the divinity and the power within the field, that it's inside every single one of us. When you get to experience that comes through only meditation, when the real, natural power of that, you can't get it anywhere else, and I believe that should be the goal for everybody. I really do. The rest of the stuff is it's like kindergarten, all the basic stuff that we get through this life chasing, and all the stuff that we seek and think is going to bring us pleasure and make us fulfilled and make this life worthwhile, and the legacy we're going to leave behind. Most of that's just absolute bull. None of it means nothing. It's leaving stuff behind and who you are. And I've always felt that the one question was like, how many people did you help? That would be a great question to answer. How the impact that you left, was it number one, positive or negative? But then how many people were you able to help find relief? If you get to the stage where you actually got it for yourself, that'd be a real, a sign of like an absolute successful life, compared to the time we put into just chasing absolute shit. And enlightenment, I believe, should be the goal. The direct experience of the divinity that's inside every single one of us, to be still and know that I am God. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but it's literal. A lot of the Bible stuff is literal. The stuff that they never had face and kept back, even the stuff that is there, a lot of it's literal. The kingdom of God is in every single one of us. It's just to understand that interpretation of God. If you think it needs to be the dude with the beard and the robes and the big staff and the light coming out the back of his head, that's probably not going to, that's not going to work. And that's where most people's belief systems and the programming is. That's where it lies. So as I discovered a long time ago, driving back for church, and realising the profoundness of and the stillness and the sacred moments I was getting in my morning meditations on my own. And then the kids were probably just born at that time. Sam was probably just born, so going back 21 years probably. So right in the start of my kind of spiritual practice, probably 2-3 years in, maybe 4 years in at that time, the spiritual work. But already starting to make progress and starting to, get the stuff that we're talking about. I was making sense of it, obviously, because I remember thinking, like, I'm getting so much more out of this than sitting in church. And I had a whole life experience of being in church and really not getting anything. And then all of a sudden, the realisation that the church is inside you, you don't need to go anywhere. That was great. It saved me an hour and a half every Sunday that I didn't ever enjoy. If I'm honest, looking back, I always felt like a chore and never quite got it. So then to go inside and to reconnect back in, which meditation, the power of meditation, it can fix anything. It can make anything better. So that's why I don't really try and get too specific. Michael talks about pain points all the time, and I'm like, this helps everything. It makes everything better. There's not a single thing that I've came across yet that doesn't get better when you don't learn how to switch off stress. And give yourself a break from your mind and your head and your intellect and your to-do list and your challenges and your fears and your, what you're going to do to make it better. All that stuff that you consciously continue to think about all the time. That doesn't really, that's not the way out. I don't believe that's where most people spend their life, is in that chronic, switched on, figure eight, never ending, just mess, and it's the same stuff every single day. So to learn how to take control of that, to learn how to, take a grip, and switch off your head, the ability to stop thinking, the ability to stop asking the questions, the ability to, give yourself a break from you and your life's journey, that's a gift. What a gift. peace of mind for the first time. And a big part of the tour is going to be cold exposure as well. I'm hopeful it's going to be cold enough, especially if we start to up to Aberdeen and things like that. It'll be cold. It's always cold enough in this country at any time of year. But what happens when you sit in that cold water, especially in nature? The Natural Health Service, the NHS, I've been using the hashtag for years, because the NHS doesn't work. We all know that. I've got a first-hand experience. I could do 100 godcasts just talking about the negative experiences I saw and witnessed directly with my mum, through the NHS and how the system literally killed her. It did, the whole thing. Basically brought her down a wee bit by bit. And so all the while, the Natural Health Service, how it's available to anybody, how you can get to doctors now as well and get appointments, and how the medicine is administered, and how little evidence there is that the medicine actually works. If you look at if you go beyond all the arguments and go, right, okay, how is this working? If you were to take every single person that's depressed, like clinically depressed, and to the point even up to like suicidal or the heavier stuff, and then look at the medication and ask the really simple question: is this making you better? Yes or no? Without any of the stories or any of it's like the very black and white, only the tick fits in the box, aye or no. It'd be fascinating to see how many people are having positive results. So the medicine was actually working. So the Natural Health Service, we know, works. We do. I know what happens when you breathe in nature. I know what happens when you stand against a tree. I know what happens when you put your feet in a cold running burn. I know what happens when you jump in and up to your neck in a cold, fast-flowing river or a loch or the sea. You stand with your feet in the sand. I know what happens. I know what happens when you go up into the mountains and you stand in that space for a really short period of time. You just need to be in it, and it starts to help you before you do anything. Just to reconnect back into the earth is a huge part of it. To connect with the self. Aye, that's a starter for 10. Otherwise, none of it's going to work. You're still trapped in your head and chasing illusions. But once you stop, and then on that day you're going to get the reconnection back to Mother Earth as well, which is really exciting for me, seeing different bits of the country. That's going to. I've never done the whole tour of Scotland. This is hopefully, if we can make it a success, is going to be extended to everywhere. I would like to see the whole country. I always had this dream of taking it into different places everywhere in the country, and being on the road, and just kind of sharing this work and these tools and experience with people to help them. So the reconnection process, meditation is going to be a huge part of it. Cold exposure, as I just mentioned, isn't it's not mandatory. You don't need to do it. The good thing, I suppose, now is there's so many people doing it, and I would like to give my take on the best way that I believe to do it, which is probably going to be different for a lot of people, especially ones that come on that day that are attached to cold water groups. So I've learned for a Wim Hof method instructor, as I was one of the first ones back in 2017. It started for me. I qualified in 2017 with Wim, and learned a lot. Helped me so much, changed my life, literally saved my life, opened up my eyes to so many different things and possibilities. I still use cold exposure almost every single day. Since 2016 it started for me, my practice, and really grateful to all the lessons along the way with Wim Hof and the academy, and the highs and the lows and the ebbs and the flows, and all that, again, which has been well documented. Really grateful for all of it. But as with anything, and with me in particular, I'm always looking for bridges. I'm always looking for shortcuts and ways to pass on what I've learned and the mistakes that I made. And I think it's very evident and clear to see. I think it'd be a truth to say. In fact, there would be a truth to say that in terms of cold exposure, there are other ways to do it, different than just the Wim Hof method of hyperventilating and dumping so much stress into your body. I've spoken about it many times how that's great for some people. It was great for me in 2016. Exactly what I needed. I was just coming off the back of my third full distance Ironman. I was a stress, adrenaline junkie in terms of chasing stuff, training all the time. Even though I wasn't chasing results, I was chasing the training and the addiction of that. So it was perfect for me. The cold exposure and the gift that it gave me, the ability to switch off and reset and properly, turn off my mind was incredible. I'll be forever grateful. But then after a couple of years, and learning through my own experience many thousands of times, and by that time thousands of students had put through the cold exposure as well, and seeing what the breathwork was doing to people, and seeing the negative effects it was having a lot of the times, that I stopped doing it because I wasn't enjoying it. And then latterly, you know, when I met Patrick McKeown, which would be 5 years ago, and learning about dysfunctional breathing, which Wim Hof method is, and the ways the body, you know, what it's actually doing within the body, and then learn how to breathe properly. Again, with Patrick, with functional breathing through the Buteyko method and the oxygen advantage, and seeing then the whole scientifically within the Wim Hof method, and certainly in terms of what I believed that they were teaching us. And then really like being grateful for trusting my instincts and my intuition because of the way I've been teaching it. I've always been soft and gentle with this stuff, you know, and really allowing the nervous system to do its job, and, you know, dealing with adversity in a welcoming way as opposed to fighting against it, the fight against the fight. I've never really done it that way. It's not my nature, you know, so I probably stepped away from it, you know, at the right time in terms of I just trusted my instincts. And then now, you know, if you do have a cold exposure practice, which is great at this time of year as well, you know, but if you'd like to come and get my take on it, how to generate the heat, how to stay warm when you're in, you know, how to get in, you know, the benefits of, you know, just taking back that control, you know, taking back that power, which is what a big bit of this tour is all about. It's once we reconnect and remember back to how we're able to feel, you know, it's all about taking back control and taking back our power. You know, but there is so much fear going on just now. People are afraid, and again, there's something about that, and I watch it stopping people using cold exposure. That fear is paralysing, you know. And you think you used to jump into these rivers and lochs and streams and burns when you were away, you know, out playing, and it used to be fun. And then we stop at some point. We stop doing it. So I'm very much about bringing it back, about bringing back a wee bit of fun, and that whatever that thing you had in me as a kid, that stepping up and just like making yourself do it almost. That can change your life, you know. That is so beneficial in so many ways, and then the power that gets taken back from that, the ability to do that and to remember once you take back and get your juices flowing again, you know. So to make it repeatable, to make that cold exposure practice repeatable, and how you feel once you've done it, you know, how you get through it and how you make it a practice so that it can be, you know, if you desire to feel like that every single day, why not? You know, because this you know, the intention with this work is to go from survival all the way up to thrival, all the way up to, you know, people that are, you know, flying and savouring and, you know, and loving their life experience and really getting everything that they came here to get. And cold exposure will take you there very quickly, you know. But it's no mandatory. Nothing's mandatory. It's you know, it's a case of if you'd like to come. I think I've had over 10,000 people in the cold now, and it's a quiet, profound spiritual practice. The way that I do it, it's a spiritual experience. It should be. The breath work is what it's all about, I always say. But then there's something about that cold water when you get in at the end, which is great for, you know, once we've got stuff up. And we get stuff out, then, you know, the cleanse that takes place in the water, especially bare feet. You know, I'm definitely pleased. Don't bring your booties or your gloves or your hats for it's cold exposure. You know, so I'm a traditionalist. I believe we should get right up to our necks like a crocodile with the hands in and the feet as well. You know, again to reconnect them back to the earth as well as everything else. You know, to feel the experience of cold exposure. Aberdeen's probably going to be the coldest. I'm looking forward to that the most, I think. So it's an exciting time again. You know, again we're once we finished last week, we did 1 day to change your life, and after the event, and it was like a double whammy. A good friend of mine was overstaying. My brother Ricky da Costa from Portugal was over for supposed to be 5 days, and it got basically cut short because of basically the transportation of the way over get changed up. The flight didn't go. It only ended up being the best part of 3 days, 2.5, 3 days. So he was on the Sunday night. He came down with me to the 1 day to change your life, and then we come back up and did a fundraiser for a good friend of his, a brother of his and a really good friend and a brother of mine, Ruben, who's also over in Portugal. We managed to raise some dough that all goes, every penny went towards Ruben as he continues to make his way back. And so Sunday was a fantastic day. The 1 day to change your life. I say it always. It's one of my favourite days for people that are coming in, especially the newbies that were there. Blessed because there was a few people on it from the programme, but there was a load of newbies there, and just watching people go through it for the first time. It's sometimes difficult for me. I feel a wee bit bad for the people that are on about it a lot. You know, the ones that are on about I suppose the students of the work that are there a lot. Sometimes I see people 2-3 times a week. And sometimes I feel like I don't think it ever gets boring because it's such a vast and varied story and interpretation of this way of doing things, and what I've learned that it seems it stays interesting. I never trying to intentionally put stuff in or take stuff out. It just seems to come through in different ways depending on what's required. But to see the new people coming in, and great for me to be able to share my story, and the reasons as to why I'm qualified to be talking about this stuff. I can see how it affects people, my story. It's a heavy story, it's heavy going. What can I do? It's my story. And I believe it's the reason that I'm qualified to be sharing the stuff that I'm sharing. And then to take them on the journey of that day, to see whatever they're coming in with, and then take them through the wheel of your life, which is a great process, and then explain the pillars and the programme and the work and the system and how it all goes together, and how to get the most from it, and what the programme is, and having people there that are on the programme and just seeing them just beaming. Some of them are just absolutely flying. Really quickly, inside a short period of time, people that go on about this work and then they actually commit to it and make it part of their life. It only seems to go one way, so that was exciting watching, the different groups within the group. We had about 20 people all in, and it was a brilliant day. The river was fantastic. The group, as always, was perfect. It's just amazing, the people that came and how it came together. It was a brilliant day, and the afternoon finished off with, again, always in meditation. Fascinating when you can see and feel the kind of palatable difference of the energy that came in people in their heads and excited, and in the afternoon when there's no thoughts and you're back into your heart and back into that kind of heart space. And then the meditation in the afternoon was absolutely high. It was good stuff, So, and then Ricky was on at night time. We came up here. And Ricky shared his story. I see Ricky as, not only being my brother, but a great teacher. He's a yogi, trained over in India, and he's been the last 4 years in Bali with his practice and his way of life. He's almost one of the lads. He's like a monk. He's became like a monk. I've seen him become like a monk. His writings and his teachings and the way that he expresses himself and his journey are very powerful. One of the purest light workers that I've seen online. That's what attracted me to him years and years and years ago. So to have him over here for the second time and to bring him over and to let the inner circle from, it wasn't just a programme, it was probably Boys Club. It was a Boys Club, it was all members of Boys Club, which was brilliant, having all the boys up. So they're all people that are on the path and they're doing the work and understand the language, and so it was great for Ricky to come in and talk at a level where they would understand that, and then see the results of his breathwork, the Pantheon method, which I will be sharing. I was speaking to Michael and Fern. We're looking to help him get that out there as well. The group, who was I'd been through it before a few months back, and that's something that's just about to be released properly onto the market, the open market. It was just interesting, hearing our group's take on it and the experiences that they got, and being on about him and him talking about his life and how it goes together for him. Just really, really blessed. As I say all the time, I've got loads of really kind of cool pals. I've got some awesome pals, and Ricky's up there. He really is. There's a few people I'd like to bring over. The one regret, because we got caught short of time, we didn't get a chance to record anything, but the plan is to bring him back over fairly soon. We've got all sorts of good stuff planned doing together, so that was Sunday, and then he was away on Monday after just for Friday night to Sunday to Monday afternoon. It was full on, and then here we go again. We're back into it. We've had a couple of days off. Michael and Fern are back up off the open road. Excited I'm excited for people to get to know them. Because it's a team. The Vortex is a team now. It's not just me. It's a team, and this doesn't happen without them. None of it. None of it would be possible. So I'm very keen for people to see who they are and get to know them. And one of the things I'm going to do on here, one of the Godcasts, I'm going to get the entire team on and introduce them and get a blether in so people can see who they are. That's going to be happening very soon, because there's loads of stuff that they want to talk about and loads of things that they can bring to this. As I said from the beginning, the start it's going to be me kind of shooting the shit and telling my story and putting my point across. And there still will be loads of this. There will be loads of it. It's just me talking, especially when it gets to possibly and probably current affairs and the world and all that kind of stuff once we get beyond the initial introduction introduction, which this kind of feels like still getting to know each other. But to have them on and them being able to talk about all sorts of stuff to do with the work in the Vortex and their own journey and the stuff they're going to be doing and how what we're doing together is it's exciting. So they're ready to go. Their enthusiasm as to where they are with their life just now is very infectious to me. The young team, which is again, I see this very much as my desire to pay it forward and get to the young ones. We need to. I'm 52 now, and in about 30 seconds I'm dead. So it's like I need to pay this forward and leave it so that they can get it. So it can be left behind. We all do, of course we do. It's the hour is late, so these tools and techniques need to be known. So the plan is to take it out. So really excited for where they are. And after having a couple of days off, now first meeting today, and talking about what's next. Again, the plan is to get excited. Always to be excited is to be driven forward and getting pulled towards, what is it that's next. And the Scottish tour is going to be fantastic. We're going to go for 4 dates. And the plan is to take it to the tour to help as many people as we can, to no force it down anybody's throats. We're going to make as big a splash as without ruffling any feathers. We're going to try and keep it humble, keep it under the radar, make it organic as best as possible. We are absolutely looking for those who are, first and foremost know about the Vortex and would like to connect with us when we're up there. That these tools and techniques to help everything. I now have a package for everything as well. The only thing we still don't have is the one for the children, but everything else, in terms of there's a package for everything. So we're certainly looking to expand and to get out there. It's going to take money to fund it. So obviously the corporate stuff as well. If there's any corporate or business interests within the different areas we're going to, then Michael and Fern would be delighted to speak to you about that. A lot of the stuff, the business and the money that comes through the corporate is one of the ways we're looking to fund this. We're not going to do the charitable route. We're all here to work. We're not expecting anything for nothing. I'm looking for help. With the exchange, absolutely. And the benefits of this to corporate in terms of switching off the stress and getting everybody in the same side and everybody in the same team and everybody with awareness and a relaxation practice and a sleep practice and being able to meditate and reconnect into the hearts and maybe come into the office with compassion, into the workplace with something other than what about me? So that the corporate package is a great package. We've also got loads of stuff going on at the Vortex just now in terms of private packages. Inspiration is one of them, where people can come and get on about the work. There's so many different ways. It's so exciting to me. I just want to work. I'm just happy when I'm working. I'm happy. And Sunday down at New Lanark there, I've done it so many times now in terms of I'm so sure of how it goes together, and as I've always said, all I'm really doing is reporting and talking about what I'm doing, my story, where I've been, and the way that comes through is different every single time, and it's actually, that's all good and well, it's important to see where I came from, but it's the experience that changes people's lives, and no matter what it is that comes through in the beginning, by the time we get to that breath work and relaxation and meditation, and then if we're lucky, like we were blessed on Sunday with the appropriate cold exposure, which was fantastic. It was just the right temperature of the river, crystal clear, and then meditation. And when you step across, from the person you walked in as, and then you leave, everything's basically gone, and you're fired up, but in a different way, in an honest, serious, work to be done kind of way. It's bringing it out of people a lot just now. People are really like, manning up to the responsibilities of what they're here to get, and taking those responsibilities and going and doing something about it. It's a time for action. It really is. Talk is so cheap just now. I'm not interested in talk at all. It's do or do not do, and as always, I'm really just trying to tend to what it is that I can control and tending to myself. The intention is always to help, to get it out there as much as we can, and it feels great. It does. The tour feels fantastic. Again, the results that we're seeing, the testimonials, there's more and more people joining the programme every single day. I'm going to be talking a lot about the programme when we do the tour. Intentional life, it's where it's at for those that want to have somewhere to go. The community of like-minded souls that are basically doing this stuff, with guided relaxation and breath work and intentional living every single day. That's the programme. There is it's been a lifetime. My adult life is basically, you know, the work that I've learned for myself, and the tools and techniques, and the freedom that I've experienced through it, and the way it's now been passed on, and how easily that's happened because of Michael and Fern, and how the community itself and the group and the people within it have assembled and are lifting each other up. It's just getting bigger and better and faster and stronger and lighter. LITE every single day, as there's more and more light in it every single day. And the ones that they can't stick around about, the ones that don't do the work, the ones that, you know, there's people that shouldn't be in it. There's people come and they sign up and they get an idea, and it's like, there's almost should be a vetting process as to why you want to be there, to save everybody's time, you know, because it's serious stuff. It's right in at the deep end and the fast end vibrationally. It's a cutting edge, I do believe, you know, how quick it happens, and the experiences that are going down almost every single time, especially within the guided breathwork and meditation. You know, there's something very powerful within that. So I'm going to talk a lot about the programme. The plan is to get it out there, to get as many people as we can onto it. It's £1 a day, which is as cheap as I could make it. It's I mean, in terms of the value of it, with everything that I'm doing, you know, I even think back to a basic Wim Hof method workshop, which I think is £100, which is basically 3 or 4 hours. Wim's story, which is, if you're into fairy tales, it's magic. His world records, again, you know, more fiction. And sorry, Wim, but that's just the way it is. And then, you know, the science, which is a couple of bits of science in it, which is really good. And then the experience of, you know, stressful breathing, and then the ice bath, you know. So it's 4 hours. That's I just think in terms of value, I think of that one day to change your life, which is £118. And I think of the value of the different modalities and the whole day, the way it's put together, literally to change your life in one day. There's no question about it. And that also feeds into the programme. When I was coming up with the price, I'm like, it needs to be something, because I've tried doing it for free. Doing it for free doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Nobody wins. And, you know, there's no mouths to feed in terms of Michael and Fern, and there's bills to pay, obviously, still. You know, so it was the £1 a day was my thing was, and I thought of this straight away. If you're buying a cup of coffee and a cake for either Costa or Starbucks once a week, or you're smoking like 1.5 cigarettes a day, then you can afford it. The price of cigarettes now, if you can afford that level, you know, then you can afford £1 a day to invest into yourself. And the thinking was very simple. If you know you're giving somebody £1 and it's every single day, I didn't want to make it the yearly price. But if you're giving somebody £1 a day, you'll do something about it. You know, you'll probably invest in yourself. That was the thinking behind it. You know, so that's the programme. The programme's going to be getting talked a lot about, again, because of what it's doing for people and how it's helping people. And it's probably the best way to gain access to me, the busier that I'm getting in terms of the one-on-ones and that kind of stuff. It's just getting so busy now, the programme, and great for me because your life is your teacher. You know, doing the work and learning how it goes together, but it's your life experience that's going to teach you and enable you to find that place of self-reliance where you don't need anybody. You know, the plan is to have no coach. That's really what it's all about. That's the goal from me. You know, so excited for all of that. Loads and loads of good stuff coming up. We're always expanding. I am excited on many different fronts. We have at least 2 retreats planned that they both doing. Again, we'll get the dates in the diary. The name has been there forever. I've spoken about it on here before. The retreat is going to be called The Ceremony. The ceremony is the reconnection back to all of that, back to yourself, back to nature, back to the divine. That's a ceremony. And we'll already get dates to them as well. So they will be released, I would imagine, by possibly the weekend as well. So please, if you're interested in that, I've done retreats loads of times in the past in all different levels. We used to go up to Balmolloch Farm, that was going back a couple of years now, with some great times up there, doing all sorts of good stuff, you know. So again, back to doing that stuff, starting to find a wee bit of time. I'm starting to, the dust is settling a wee bit with the Wayne's been away. We're starting to kind of, right, okay, what can we actually do with this? The first couple of weeks have been a wee bit manic, but now we're starting to go, right, okay, this is starting to feel a wee bit easy in terms of the space to do stuff. You know, so now I'm thinking, right, okay, what else can I do? You know, we're looking at all sorts of stuff, you know, in terms of events and retreats and, you know, getting the vortex out there on the road, being mobile. The mission is onto the road. At this point, that's what it feels like, and it starts on the 23rd of June. We go to Dundee, and then the weekend after, 30th of June, it's Aberdeen, and then we're going to Ayrshire on the 7th of July, and then Glasgow is going to be the 14th of July. That's the 4 dates for the tour. the Scottish Tour, Reset and Reconnect, to take back your power, to remember who you are, to remember how you're meant to feel and how it's meant to be in this lifetime. That's the plan for it. And we're going to use all the good stuff, the breath work and the relaxation and the meditation and cold exposure. And the plan is to reconnect and get out our heads and reconnect back into our hearts and back into ourselves and back with each other. And get the world back to the way it's meant to be. Anybody is welcome, please. If you know anybody who would benefit from it, if you have worked with me before, please connect with me through, probably the best ways, either through Facebook or Instagram or Messenger or whatever, WhatsApp if you've got my number, if you've been here personally. And it'd be great to connect to you when we do the tour, when we go around about these wonderful places and spaces. Dundee, here we come. I've been looking forward to going to Dundee forever. I know Dundee is, I guess a wee bit of a bad rap. And I know the hardships that are in Dundee. My brother lives just outside Dundee, and I'm very aware of the hardships that are on up there just now. So we get straight into it. Thinking a lot as well. For me, the real people of Scotland, what do they need? This is where this process and how quick it happens, there's no denying it. And the way that it helps the specific to this country, the problems we're facing. You look at the challenges with addiction. You look at the absolute decimation that's being caused just now. Whatever the drug is, choose your poison. Legal or illegal. The amount of people that are stuck in addiction, for sugar all the way up to heroin it's a sorry state, and I've always felt that addiction is something that can absolutely be helped. There's no question about it. The programme, the one step, of being in alignment and doing this work and replacing your negative addictions with positive addictions, and raising your consciousness to a point where you don't even consider yourself to be that person anymore. Is a big shift away from sitting in rooms and just talking about who you used to be and how horrible you were and what it cost you. So again, addiction's a huge thing. It's a big part of it. I know there's a way beyond addiction to transcend it, not just so you can live with it and just deal with it on a daily basis. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about transcending it. So the challenges that we face, I believe in Scotland you should have a cold exposure practice because of the environment you're in, the ability to manage your immune system, and get you through the winters. Learning the benefits of heat exposure if you get access to heat. I wish we could do that, take that with us, even in summertime, but certainly in winter time, getting the benefits of being able to generate your own heat, but if you can get a bit of heat exposure into you as well. There's so many ways that we can, make this time that we're here better. And, at a time when we're getting really sick, and at a time when we became soft as a species, as a people. The way that I see Scottish people now is heartbreaking. You see some of the kids, you walk about Glasgow or Edinburgh, and you see in the cities, and you see some of these wains going about, and it's like, Jesus Christ, you talk about snowflakes, you talk about, just the inability to deal with anything other than, they're so stressed and compromised already. That anything beyond that, the thought of war in national conscription is hilarious. That's a joke. Just thinking how some of these kids, have been, the way they've been raised and how they would deal with that. Oh my God, it'd be worth watching. I'll give you that. So times have moved on. It's maybe time for these children to do it a different way and no fight and no kill each other, which is a blessing, I suppose, isn't it? Aye. So it's on. We keep going. We keep looking for stuff. We keeping grafting in terms of ways to keep being inspired. I've been a wee bit stale the last couple of weeks, and that's why we need to go again. I need to find more stuff to get into. The tour is absolutely that. The Vortex is still open, so even though we're away at the weekends, the Vortex will still be open during the week. For one-on-ones or the private stuff and all the corporate stuff as well. Everything's available on the link tree or through the Vortex site. I'm excited to get this to the country. I'm excited to see a lot of the people that stay in these different pockets. I'm really looking forward to see you again. For some, it's been many years. Excited to share my work. Excited to take it to people, to offer a solution, to offer an answer. It's like, as I keep thinking, like, who doesn't want to feel better? And that's all we're trying to do, is help people feel better, and then maybe explain and give them the reasons as to why they should maybe be doing this more often, and how it's going to benefit everybody's life and make the world a better place. That's what it's all about. Everything gets better, and it happens a lot of the time because of adversity, because of trials and tribulations and decimations a lot of the time, which is unfortunately the way we find this stuff. But as I'm seeing a lot just now, there's no accidents. The people that are coming across it and the ones that are showing up to the classes and to the events, they're all meant to be here, it feels like, and that's very, from both sides, that's what's coming across. So the vibration of it, I've always felt and known was enough, and now organically seeing, even though we're being proactive with it, but organically seeing, what's showing up and the people that are sticking on about it, and the people we're getting to meet and how it's adding to what we're creating here is really exciting, So the next part of that, the Scottish tour, let's just see how far we can take it. It's for a wee bit of fun. It's for a big bit of fun, in terms of, us having something to look forward to, and then, the part of, being excited is to feeling and seeing what people are going to get for this. When I did that talk down in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago, as I'm leaving the hotel room, and my wife was like, she kind of stopped me, she's like, what a gift to give to somebody, what an incredible gift, to share with somebody, especially somebody that's not expecting it. And that's one of the things that I love about the big events, the free events. People coming in there and kind of, they're being maybe dragged a wee bit, and they're thinking about, what is this, cold exposure or breathing, and then there's a strong possibility, if I do my job properly, they could, switch off their stress in their head and stop worrying and stop being fearful, and if I do it properly, correctly, then reconnecting back into the heart and back into their soul and back into themselves. And at that point, I'm not surprised anymore what comes through and what people share with me after it, and what you can actually see within people's eyes, the brightness is in their eyes, when they maybe ship it, or they get ready, or they release something, or they maybe bring something in through inspiration. It's that space that brings up these literal miracles. So that's exciting. That's the fun bit. When you watch what it does to people's lives, how that makes me feel. That brings me everything that I need for this journey. It's going to be great. I'm so excited by it, as well as everything else that's going on. So I think maybe just a wee bit overwhelmed the last week or so, just too much in no space, and then the Wayne's been away and just spinning plates a wee bit. So I'm now starting to dust this settling a wee bit. I'm starting to get excited about going to work and taking it out there and getting on the road and spreading this work, this mission, and helping as many people as we can. So starts off 23rd of June in Dundee. The dates will be posted every Sunday from there on in, 2 in June and then 2 in July, the first 2 weeks in July. Thank you to everybody who continues to show up, all the programme members. God bless your souls. Apologies, the last 2 lives have been done because one day to change your life on Sunday, and also obviously the technical we had this morning. We'll be back on again this weekend. We will go again, and to those that are interested or attracted to the work, please come and ask. It's only goodness. There's no rainbows and unicorns and fairies. There's none of that kind of stuff. It's all real, honest. It's real stuff. It works. When you experience the power of the breath and what it can do for you in terms of switching off your mind and getting you a break and perhaps temporary relief, then everything literally gets better. And at that point it becomes exciting. You start to take your power back. So if you are interested in it, if it's calling you, please come and ask. We are here to help any way that we can. Onwards and upwards. Have a fantastic evening. Have a fantastic day wherever you are. Peace out from me. Love and light as always. And God bless. Bye for now.